Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Kirk here again at Option Alpha. So, want to jump back on, do a live stream today because I actually have time, and we just did a bot workshop, which was super cool. So, I want to do a live stream, and I was going to go in and modify a bot template that was already shared, and basically like reformat the bot template to trade with credit spreads instead of debit spreads. So, I figured, why not? Maybe this is a good opportunity to go in and actually just do this right now, and do this inside of, I guess, a live stream, and just do this with you guys on here as well. So that's all I'm gonna do. If you have any questions or have any ideas as we go through it, let me know. But the whole idea for this particular live stream that I want to do here is to go ahead and try to modify an existing bot template that was shared into the community. So you can do this, by the way, all over the place. It doesn't have to be all the time that you are creating your own bot templates from scratch. You can do that, of course, if you want to, but more often than not, a lot of people, what they do is they take existing bot templates that are already out there, and then they create modified versions of those. And I think it's truly one of the coolest things that you could possibly do with the template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that here on the live stream. If you guys have any questions as we go through it, let me know, or you can add them in the comments after we get done here. By the way, there is a coupon code, promo code in the bottom of the checkout, or not the checkout, the description page right below here for this one. So you can skip the line. First 100 to use the promo code, skip the line, can start a trial right now. You don't have to wait in line. So use that right now. It's in the link in the description right here. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through this, show you how it kind of works. I'm going to get myself off of the screen here so you can maximize this and you can see it. And then I'll jump back and forth in chat and see if you guys have any questions, okay? So this is the bot template that I'm going to go after here. So it's one of the sample bot templates that we added, which is the Reactive 2x EMA with debit spreads. So the whole idea, and you can read about this template inside the community if you want to, but the whole idea is that a lot of people, what they like to do with this particular strategy is they like to trade some sort of cross of EMAs or moving averages. Like, doesn't have to be these particular settings. You can modify it and do whatever. Could you say that again? No, wasn't talking to you, Siri. It doesn't have to be these particular settings. You can modify it and do whatever you want with it. But the goal is to trade some sort of directional move with the markets with two EMAs. So like a shorter term crossing above a longer term crossing below a shorter term, back and forth, however you want to do it. That's how this one is essentially set up and how it's structured, okay? So what we're going to do, though, is that this one that's in there right now is set up to be used as a debit spread trader. So basically what it's doing is it's looking for these signals for the EMAs to cross, whether we get a bullish signal or a bear signal. And then it's only set up to trade debit spreads. And what I want to do this time is I want to take the structure of this strategy, which is these reactive EMAs, and I want to modify this to trade credit spreads. So if you're a credit spread trader, you're going to like this. If you're a debit spread trader, you can choose the template that's already there and go from there. Okay, so that's all I'm going to try to do is just modify this to trade a different structure. If that makes sense, let me know in the comments. And then, okay, so here's what we're going to do. All I'm going to do simply is clone this. I'm going to create a new name for it just so I know exactly what it's doing. So I'm going to call this one Reactive 2x EMA with credit spreads. We can give it a little logo or icon. Really doesn't matter what we do with it. Okay, put it into whatever one of your trading accounts. This is where you can put it into your TD account, your TradeStation account, TradeAir account, whatever. You can put it into a sub account if you want to, or you can just put it into an Option Alpha paper trading account, test it out, try it, see if it works, modify it, and then you can move it over whenever you want, okay? This is where you give it some capital. So you can say, hey, I want to do, say, $4,000 of total capital for this bot. What's cool about doing this is that it's not the total, like that's the backstop that the bot can use. But if the bot, you can also limit the bot in number of contracts for positions. All that kind of stuff can be limited right inside the bot. We got some position limits in here, so it just limits the number of positions that the bot might get entered into as it's trading. So position limits are pretty cool because you can tell the bot, hey, look, I only want to get into at most 2 positions per day or at most 3 positions a day. And then in total, you would say like, I'll let you have 4 positions in total, but never more than 3 positions in a single day. So that's how you would do those position limits. Then we got a bunch of ticker inputs and a bunch of inputs for the actual template. I mean, look, this is super cool the way that you can do this. And just to be totally honest with you guys, having these inputs is so flexible because now you can essentially control the entire thing right here inside of these bot settings. So if I want to change the tickers and I don't want to run this on SPY, TLT, and blah, 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 I can just simply remove one of these tickers and add a different ticker. Or I could add Tesla, or I could also add Apple. Like if you guys want to trade these other ones here, like I want to trade this on Netflix as well, just go ahead and do that. Just add your ticker symbols in here and click done. Then it will run this strategy on those particular ticker symbols. The next thing you can do then, of course, is you can modify the EMA lengths. So because we have them as level inputs, right here, you can just modify exactly what EMAs you want to use. So maybe you want to use a 20 and a 50 day. Like all you have to do is just simply switch these right here from a 20 to a 50. Like this is going to be the short length. This is a long length. It's used throughout the template, throughout the bot. So you know exactly what it's doing. So I'll change back to the defaults. I think we had them at like a 5 and a 7 or something like that. Yeah, 5 and a 9. So we'll just leave these at the defaults. Bid-ask spread threshold is a really good one. So with the bid-ask spread threshold, what you can do is you can basically tell the bot to filter out anything before it gets to the point of main trade that is a low bid-ask spread. So immediately when the bot starts looking for positions, then it'll filter out anything that's got a super high bid-ask spread. This really helps out with, not chasing markets that are liquid, not trading things you didn't, know that have really high liquidity. Like let the bot do that work. Let the bot filter it out. Really easy one that you can do. Then when you can do your position size, here you can say the number of contracts you want to do. You can do up to a certain amount of risk. So I said earlier, you could do, like $3,000 for the whole bot, and you could do each position is say $1,000 of risk, like whatever it is. So if some ticker symbols have, credit spreads that are a little bit more like less margin to cover that position, then it will automatically enter 3 credit spreads up to $1,000 of risk versus like a Tesla or a Netflix, it might only enter 1 credit spread up to $1,000 of risk. So you could do it that way too, which is kind of cool. You can also do it based on percentage. This is also really fun because you can do it and modify these and say like, look, every position is 2% of the bot's available capital or net liquidity or its allocation, whatever it is that kind of fits your strategy. And this is cool because then you can let the bot grow or not with its position sizing as the strategy grows. So if it's going well, then your position sizing grows. If the bot is going through a down draw or drawdown, then your position sizing goes down as well, like appropriately. So it doesn't keep allocating the same amount of capital if your position size changes as you go. We'll just keep it at 1 contract just to make it really standard for the template. Next thing that you can do here is you can do the profit target. Profit targets are pretty cool because what you can do with profit targets is set the percentage of the premium increase or decrease, which we'll modify this one to adjust the strategy as you go. So if you get a profit of 50%, it would automatically take it off. I also like these switches. So in this case, the switch is really cool because what it allows us to do is like do a micro toggle of the strategy, like micro decision inside the automation. In this case, we're going to allow the bot to close if the EMAs get reversed. So this whole strategy for this bot template is set up around these EMAs, like the shorter being above the longer and vice versa. So if you get into a trade, you could toggle this on and then the bot would automatically close the position if the EMA is reversed. So if you got that reversal, it would trigger a close no matter what, like profit, loss, whatever the position is, it closes the position. That allows you to do pure technical trading on that if you wanted to. If you don't, and you just want to, run strategies normal where you're looking for a 50% profit or closing the day before expiration, all you do is simply toggle it off. That's it. Once you toggle it off, the bot's not going to close an existing position when those EMAs reverse and you get a different signal. I'm going to leave it on for now. And the last one is your expiration threshold for this template. This is cool because what it can do is it can close a position as you near expiration. So if you trade 30, 40, 60 days out, when you get to 1 day from expiration, if you haven't already closed for some other reason, like a profit or whatever, then it will automatically close the position as well, take it off. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and clone that and then go over and view the bot. So this is our bot. It's basically just a shell right now that we created. I'm going to go over to the automations and you can see all the automations that are in here. Remember, the template that I cloned originally from the community was a debit spread template. So what I want to do is I want to go in here and I want to modify all of these automations and modify them to make them credit spreads. Now you could do it 2 different ways, just so you know. I want to show you guys both ways to do it. So you can choose how you want to do it for your particular strategy if you want to. But the first way that you can do it is you can directly edit and modify that automation that comes in. So if I just click on the automation, I can go in here, I can modify the name, I can go into any of the fields, I can modify everything in here, right? That will modify this existing automation if you want to. That's great if you want to do that. I don't choose to do that all the time because what I want to do is I want to keep this in my library if I want to use it for something else. So what I always try to do is if I'm cloning a template from somebody else, I want to first add this template to my library so I can add it to like Kirk Scanners, like one of my folders in my library. Then I can keep this particular copy in my library. I can just save it and you can see a little icon pops up here. It says it's saved in my library now. And I do this for all the automations that come in because I want to keep versions of these. Like I want to keep these as, potential trading ideas and strategies. I want to have to rebuild stuff over and over and over again. So I just save anything that comes in to my particular library. Okay. So once I save that to my library, I can simply just go ahead and delete these scanners and these automations from the actual bot. And I'm going to show you why I can do this because I'm going to create another copy of them when I try to re-add them back in. So if you're following along here, you'll see I'll do it right now. So I'm going to add a scanner, and then you can see it already has a copy of the ones that we had in here that we saved. So in this case, what I want to do is I want to go into my library, right? My scanner that I already have because I've already saved a copy of this, right? And I want to create a copy of this. So I just want to create a copy of the scanner that was in there. This creates a brand new copy of this that I can modify, and it doesn't edit the existing one that's out there. So now I've gotten a really great debit spread trading strategy idea and scanner automation totally built out. In this case, what I want to do is I want to modify that one, and I create a copy of it. So it didn't interfere, didn't interact with the other one. And it was a really easy way to now again create another modified version or copy that I can use. Okay. So this time I'm going to call this the short credit spreads reactive 2x EMA scanner. Okay. And now I can again save this to my library of scanner automations. Now I have a new version of this. So what I'm going to do in this template, and I'm going to go at a decent pace, hopefully, because see there's a decent amount of people on here. But if you guys have questions as you're going, let me know, and then we can go through here and modify it as we need to. Okay. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify some of these templates, some of these fields to make it fit a credit spread strategy. Okay. Some fields I won't need to touch. I'll go through each of them so you can see how I'm doing it. Some fields I won't need to touch at all. Some I'll need to modify and just swap out for a credit spread. Again, the original strategy was a debit spread. Now I want to swap it out for a credit spread. First thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to modify this field down here. Actually, let me go up to the back to top and start at the top. First thing that this automation does is it loops through the ticker symbols. We already set the ticker symbols when we created this strategy and set it up to begin with. We chose those symbols. That's just connecting it and verifying that. Next thing that it does is it checks to see if the bot has less than one position with that symbol. That one I'm not going to modify either. I want to keep that decision in there. I want the bot not to overlap positions. So if the bot has a position in Apple, I don't want another position in Apple. Like I only want to trade one position depending on where the EMAs are for that particular strategy at a time. I don't need to trade 10 times in a particular symbol. I just want to trade it one time. So you can modify this if you want to. You can say, hey, look, I want it to only open new positions if it's got less than 3 positions in that symbol or less than 1, however, whatever works for you, put in there, okay? Next decision is the bot can open a new position. This is a really good one just to keep your bots clean and simple. Basically, if you don't have this one in here and you already hit your daily limit, the bot will just give you a warning and say, look, I tried to open a position. You already hit your daily limit. If you add this decision in here, it checks first to see if it has room to enter a new position. So your 3 positions per day or 3 positions in total, the bot would check itself to see if it has room to enter a new position. And if it does, then it would continue down that path. Next thing is the actual EMA signal. So here you can see we have a group decision. We're checking to see if the short EMA length is intraday is above the long EMA length intraday, and the short EMA length 1 day ago was below the long EMA length 1 day ago. Essentially what we're looking for is the actual true cross. So when you start this bot, you're going to get only trades when the actual cross occurs. So they had to have been in the opposite state yesterday, and then they had to have crossed today in order to get this signal. So if you get the yes, then it's the bullish signal. And if no, then it goes down the no path and it checks the opposite setup. The short is below the long, and one day ago, the short was above the long, checks the opposite setup down the yes path. So basically, these two like decisions right here, these are your actual signal decisions that you're running for this particular automation. So these are the things that are going to be checking. Like, do I have a bullish signal? Do I have a bearish signal? And depending on if I have either of those, then I continue down the yes path. Notice that if I don't have a bullish or bearish signal and I go all the way down the no path, so if the answer here is no, I don't have a bullish signal, I check, do I have a bearish signal? No, then it would continue down the no path. It's a good structure you could use for a lot of your bots anyway, okay? So now down each of these paths, you'll notice that we've got lots of different things that we're doing. So we're checking a lot of liquidity filters, capital filters. We're making sure that the probability of profit is high enough. All of these things that we're checking all the way down these different paths, eventually opening these long put and call spreads. That was how the original template was designed. Remember, this was cloned from a debit spread template. So this is exactly how the original template was set up. But what we want to do is we want to basically kill all of that stuff and modify it for a credit spread strategy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply go in here and I'm going to delete all of these decisions down each path because I don't need them for debit spreads. And I can simply just add new decisions for credit spreads. Okay. So I'm going to go here and just delete all these decisions down these paths. And then I'm going to go here and add new decisions for credit spreads. Now I'll show you how I like to do it when I build out my automations. And I did this in the bot workshop today. But what I like to do when I build out my automations is I like to literally add the trade that I want to get into. And then I kind of backfill the automation with the opportunity filters. So if you think about it, like, I don't know, like talking it out, like I'll tell the bot, look bot, I want you to, the goal is to eventually sell this credit spread, right? And then I'll use that format that I built for that credit spread. And I will tell the bot, but before you do sell that credit spread, I want you to check this, check that, check that, check that, like check a bunch of things before you get to the point of actually selling that spread and sending the order to my broker. So I do it that way because it's really easy to do and it allows you to reuse a lot of the settings inside of your bot if you want to. Okay. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to basically build out the open position action down the bullish signal path that we have here. So we get a bullish signal, and that means that the shorter term EMA is crossing above the longer term EMA. So in this case, what we want to do is we want to sell out of the money short put spreads. So instead of trading long debit spreads for the original template, we're going to modify this and we're going to trade out of the money short put spreads. So we're going to sell far out of the money short put spreads, try to basically like fade that move. As the markets may be moving up, then we're selling short put spreads away from where the market is trading right now. So we're going to go here, click the button to add an action, and then go to the open position action. Then we're going to choose the position that we want, which is a short put spread. And now we have to fill out all the fields for the short put spread. Cool thing about doing it this way is you do it one time and then it's done. And then you don't have to modify it unless you don't have to re-enter it a million times. Super easy. It's way easier than manually trading and trying to find all these tickers every single time and looking at the deltas every single time. Just do it one time. Tell the bot the structure of your trade that you want set up. And then you can reuse this over and over again. So you can type in the symbol here, or you can just connect it to whatever symbol it's currently looking at the time. So you could do that really quickly with these custom inputs. So remember, we had that list of symbols that we were looking at where we told the bot, look at this symbol, this symbol, this symbol. Well, anytime you change that list, it'll just swap out that symbol in this actual action. For the expiration date, you can get pretty specific with this. You can target at least a certain period of expiration. You can target exactly a period of expiration, only the monthlies, whatever you want. So we'll do something like at least 30 days, and we'll do only monthly contracts. That will avoid any weekly contracts that are out there. Only trade monthly contracts at least 30 days out. Okay. Next thing that we can do is we can set up our actual legs. So our actual deltas and legs of positions. Here you can see for each of these leg variants, we have lots of ways you can do it. You can do it based on a delta. You can specify an exact strike. You could do it a dollar amount above and below the underlying price, like sell my short leg, $10 below the underlying price. You could do it percentage-wise, say 10% below the underlying price, like whatever that strike is that's closest to that. You can do it based on a standard deviation, which is kind of cool. Also, you can do it a dollar amount above and below another leg if you're using complex leg strategies like an iron condor or an iron butterfly. You can also do some matching. That's really cool for later when you hedge positions. You can match expirations, things like that. In this case, we'll just do it as a very simple delta. We'll do a 30 delta, so we'll sell far out of the money, and we'll say we'll do closest to 30 delta. You can do something like higher, lower than 30 delta, or just like closest to a 30 delta. A lot of these variables go out like multiple decimal points for delta, so it'll find something close. The other thing that we can do here for the long put, and we can do this a little bit different this time, is we can do it as a dollar amount above or below another leg. So in this case, we could do maybe say $3 below the short put leg of the strategy. So basically place that long leg of my spread $3 below my short put leg. And again, you could do it or closest. So if there's not something exactly $3, then you could do something closest, or you could do exactly. Now, this would, just so you know, if you did exactly, you would have, the bot is checking for exactly something that is $3 below that leg, right? So in that case, if there's not a strike that's available, then it doesn't enter a position. And that's okay. If that's what you want, like you always want to trade $3 wide spreads, like knock your socks off. You can do that, or you can do higher, lower, etc. So we'll do closest, $3 or closest. And then finally, we have to, or second to last, we have to set the amount that we're going to trade. So this is pretty fun. You can, again, like we showed you earlier, do the contracts, do up to a certain amount of risk, up to a percentage. We'll just do one contract now for very simple terms. And then finally, we have to set our pricing. So how do we want the order going to our broker? This is, I think, one of the most fun parts that you can do. If you haven't seen this in action, you got to watch the videos of sending smart pricing orders, or you got to try it out yourself. But basically what smart pricing does is, instead of doing the manual enter, cancel of orders, smart pricing will send orders to your broker in really fast timed intervals that you can set here, right? You can choose your smart pricing level, and basically it will try from better pricing to worse pricing as it works through the bid-ask spread. So it will try to get you best pricing, wait whatever time, like 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever you want. And then it will cancel that order if it doesn't fill, try another, like inch up the price by a penny or 2 pennies, whatever that spread is, and then try another price, and then try another one, and another one, and another one. So if you're anything like me, if you've ever rushed before and you've entered a trade and you've immediately gotten a fill, then you know you probably missed out on something. There's probably a better price you could have waited for. So just let smart pricing do it. For most of my order entry that I do patient smart pricing. So it does up to 5 prices, 20 seconds apart. Like, let the bots and machines do what they do best. Like, let them fire and cancel orders. And then I could allow the final price to be something like, if you want to, like 80% of the bid-ask spread. Or if you want to do something a little bit lower, you could do like 60% of the bid-ask spread, right? Like, you allow it to go a little bit further, but it's got to start at really, really aggressive pricing anyway. Okay. Whatever you set, doesn't matter. You put that in here, and now you have your new open position action inside of the bot. Okay. So if you're watching along, does that make sense? Let me know in the comments real quick. JR said, how does the API connection work? Said, how's the API connection work if there's need for it? Which brokers does the bot connect to? So it's all on our integrations page. So you just go to optionalpha.com/integrations. You do a one-time OAuth, like authentication. You go to the broker, authenticate the connection to Option Alpha, and you're done. And it's good. And then you just connect your bots to whatever account you have, and it just sends the orders back and forth all the time. Yeah, you can just go to optionalpha.com/integrations, and that's where you can find it. Okay. So right now we have TD Ameritrade, TradeStation, Tradier. We did sign something with another broker. Can't announce it yet, but we're working to get more integrations out there. Okay. Next thing that we're going to do. So now that we have that open position action, if that makes sense, let me know in the chat for those of you who are watching right now. If that makes sense, what we're going to do now is we're going to precede this with more decisions. So here's the thing, and this is so important, I feel like. If we get a technical signal on this bot template where the shorter term EMA is above the longer term, we get that bullish signal. We don't, you certainly don't, I don't want to just like close my eyes and just send a trade to your broker, right? I like that I can do this on video because like you guys can see me do this. But that's what some people do. They're just like, oh, it just close my eyes and send the order to the broker. Like I got the signal, so it's going to be a perfect trade. No, of course not. Like that's not how it really works. You should, I would imagine you would want to check for some really important things before you make a trade. Maybe you check for liquidity. Maybe you check for a certain number of volume or open interest, right? Or maybe you want to check that the probability of success is high enough on the trade before you send the order, right? Like these might be things that you check for intuitively. So you can do that now with your bots. Like let the bots check for all of those things first so that you have the ability to send the orders to your broker that are appropriate, right? That only pass your requirements for trading. Okay. So I'm going to add some of these in here. So I don't want the bot just to send the order yet. So I want to precede this with more decisions. So all I do is I click on the gear icon right here. I want to precede this action with another decision. And this time, what I want to do is I want to go down to our recipes here for our opportunity recipes. So listen, opportunity recipes are exactly what they sound like. The bot is evaluating an opportunity for you. You tell the bot, look, bot, look at this potential credit spread that I'm about to get into and check whatever you wanted to check. It's not a trade, it's not a position, it's an opportunity. That's why we named them opportunity recipes, because you're evaluating an opportunity. You're telling the bot, I want you to evaluate this opportunity and see if it is acceptable enough to me. Okay. If that makes sense, let me know in the comments really quick if you're watching this right now. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to first do this one. This one is a favorite of mine, which is we're going to do this one, the bid ask spread. Okay. We're going to do the opportunity bid ask spread is less than a certain amount. This is like a no brainer add to your bots. I don't even think people actually check this in reality. I think most traders, when they're trading, and I know because we get emails from people and they like still don't check bid ask spreads. Like bid ask spreads is such an easy thing just to check. And if you're not checking it manually and you're just going at the mid every single time, like you're probably missing out on just an easy filter. And the spreads change all day, right? Like we know this, like sometimes they're tight, sometimes they're narrow, sometimes they're wide. Like why not just let the bot manage this for you? So you can do this if you want to. You can just have the bot manage it for you. So you can just go here and select your opportunity. So like what opportunity am I looking at right now? And this is why I built out the actual position first, because now it pulls up as a recent trade that I might want to get into. So the bots are smart enough to say, okay, that's really cool. Like that's a recent trade that I might want to get into, right? So great, that's cool. So now I can select that one. I can confirm everything, right? And now I want to check and make sure that the bid ask spread is less than a certain amount. I don't know what, like 10 cents, whatever you want for you. It doesn't matter. It's totally up to you, right? You could do 10 cents, 20 cents, 50 cents, 1 cent, 2 cents, whatever. Okay. It's got to be lower than that. So let's say 10 cents. So only get into a new trade if the bid ask spread is less than 10 cents. That's it. So like only get into a new trade if the bid ask spread is less than 10 cents. By the way, somebody had like a little snide comment in the chat of like EMA crossovers are useless. Fine. Then use something else as a technical indicator. I don't care what you use, but it's probably better than manually trading anyway. So this is just an example. So thanks for your awesome comment. Okay. So you want to go ahead and have the bot filter by 10 cents, less than 10 cents. Just as an example. Okay. That's the first thing you can do. We can add another decision here, like another filter requirement to this if we want to, and we can group them all together. Another one that I like to do with spreads is rate of return. Again, super simple, easy one. Are you getting enough premium for the actual position you're getting into? Like, do you have enough premium that makes sense for your strategy? What a lot of people like to do for spreads is like a common one is like 1/3 the width of the strikes. You guys hear that? Like 33% or 25% of the width of the strikes or half of the width of the strikes, whatever you want to use. Like it really doesn't matter. You choose, but there's got to be some sort of filter to make sure that whatever you're trading is not worthless. Like there's obviously contracts that are there. Maybe the spreads are okay, but you probably want to do some sort of filter on rate of return to make sure you're getting compensated enough for your risk. The great thing about using this with bots is that when you put in the actual strategy, again, we're reusing the same one that we had before, it factors in the credit, the width of the strikes, the premium, like it does all that for you and it calculates the rate of return. So we're going to say, okay, minimum rate of return greater than, say, 30%. Like, we have to be able to capture a 30% premium of the width of the strikes, right? To factor in the like the rate of return. We got to be able to capture that. And if we can capture that, then we will allow the bot to continue and place the trade. That's a super easy one to just add to your bots. Like, just add a rate of return filter. Okay. The next one that I want to add is just another probability filter. You can add, I mean, so many different ones here. We'll add a couple here, but you can do something like the chance of profit. So even though we're trading deltas, right? Like, even though you're using deltas, or if you're not using deltas and you're doing like $2 or $3 above the market or 2% above the market, this is a really easy one to add as well. So you add your chance of profit recipe. So it checks this potential trading opportunity and then looks at the probability of, or the chance of profit, and ensures that it's more than whatever you said here. So maybe that's 70%. So I got to capture 30% premium of the width of the strikes, and the profit has to be, probability profit has to be more than 70%. I mean, like, that's a positive expected outcome if those two things end up being true, right? So that's a great trading opportunity. Anything less than that, it doesn't avoids making the trade, checks again at the next interval, keeps checking all day. Maybe one morning there's a good opportunity, boom, enters a trade. The next time it comes around, that new opportunity is better in the afternoon. So boom, enters a trade in the afternoon. Like, that is a better way to do it than just kind of whimsically guessing if it's going to work. Okay. So now we've got these three ones that are added here. You can do another one if you want to. You can do something on the position open interest. I'm going to, for just speed and simplicity here, not going to add these to all of them, but you can add them to your bots. But in this case, you can check individual legs, like check my short put legs specifically and check the open interest, or check the mark or the volume of that leg. Like, micro laser decision making inside of your bots. Like, if you always check open interest, it's got to be above some level, just put it into the bot, have the bot do that for you, have it make that decision for you. Okay. So I'm just going to simply add all of these here to the yes path. So now when I get, and follow me along on this, right? When I get a bullish signal, whatever a bullish signal is for you, use EMAs, you can use different technicals, RSI, Bollinger Bands, I don't care. Use whatever you want, right? Whenever you get the signal for you in your template, then you wanted to check all of these things first. Check all of these things first before it gets to the point of entering a trade. Like, I don't know about you guys, but it seems like a logical way to trade to me. Like, have the bot check a bunch of stuff before you enter a trade. Because if you're anything like me, I never checked all of these things every single time, never rushed, right? Like we all did. Like, we rushed through a trade. They don't rush through a trade. They're going to check it every single time. Okay. So now we've switched this from in this case, a debit spread strategy to more of a credit spread strategy for the short put spread. Let's do the same thing for the short call spread. So if we don't have a bullish signal, do we have a bearish signal? So is the shorter term EMA crossing below the longer term, right? Which in this case could be a bearish signal. Again, use whatever you want. If you don't like EMAs, doesn't matter. Use RSI, CCI, technicals, stochastics, whatever you want, okay? We built out a ton of different examples of this so you guys have. So if we get that bearish signal, this time we want to sell out of the money credit spreads, call spreads, right? So we want to fade the market move down. If we're getting any bearish signal or whatever it determines a bearish signal for us, we would sell out of the money call credit spreads and try to fade the market lower. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the open position action. Again, I want to build out the trade so that I can reuse that trade as I'm building out my filters for it. So I want to do my short call spread. I'm going to connect this to an actual symbol. I'm just going to leave all the defaults in here for now. We kind of went through that earlier in the video, like how you can modify these, but I'll just leave all the defaults in here. I've got my short call spread. It's perfectly set up the way I want. Obviously modify it for your liking inside of your actual bots. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go here and I'm going to proceed with. I'm going to proceed with more decisions because I want it to filter for all these opportunities. So I'm going to add my opportunity filters again. I'm going to start, as always, with the bid-ask spread. So I want that bid-ask spread to be insanely narrow. I'm going to select my call spread. I want that bid-ask spread to be, let's say, less than 10 cents. It's still going to work through the spread. So even if the spread is 9 cents, because I have smart pricing, it will work from best pricing all the way through that spread anyway. So I don't mind it starting a little bit wider in some cases and then using smart pricing kind of working through that progression. Next thing I want to do is I want to go here and add the rate of return filter. So I'm going to go here and add that as well. And again, once you get familiar with this, it's not that hard. You just really do it really fast. And then also I want to add the probability of profit filter. So you can do the same one. You can do it modified if you want to. Maybe when you trade call spreads, you want that probability of profit higher. Maybe it's like 75%. I'm just using examples here. So whatever it is for you, okay? Then you add those in here, and once you're good to go, then you simply hit save, add it down the yes path. Now our strategy is built out. Like I've modified this whole thing. Instead of trading debit spreads, now it's trading credit spreads. And that's really cool because now all what I can do is I can use the strategy that somebody else built or some template out there. I don't have to reformat or rebuild everything. I just swap out the different things that I wanted, which in this case was short put spreads or short call spreads for this strategy. So this is just the scanner portion of the automation built out right now. So any questions on this? Do you have any questions on it? Let me know in the chat. I think I can see most of the chat in here. That are inside the live stream here. So just add your comments in here or questions, or if this is helping too, just let me know as we're going through this live stream. I know we got a lot of people in here, which is cool. So if it is helping, let me know too. Okay, so I've added this, re-added the call spreads. Now my scanner is good. I'm just going to simply hit save. I can reconfirm everything that I had here that were all custom inputs like the bid-ask spread and all that other stuff. And once I'm good to go, I simply just hit save and then add that to my list of scanners, okay? So now I have to add my monitor automations back in. So in this case, remember, we had those monitor automations in there. I saved them in my library. They're right here. So my long call spread monitor, my long put spread monitor, I want to reuse those same automations. I saved them to my library, so I had a copy of them, and I can use them in other bots if I want to. But now what I want to do is I want to reuse those same automations, but I want to modify them again to trade credit spreads. So there might be a couple little modifications in there. So let's do the call spread one first. So I'm going to create a copy of that, which I did. Go ahead and you can modify this one. We'll call it short call spread reactive monitor. In this case, we're going to just modify a couple little fields here because they are different management styles. Like if you're trading long debit spreads versus short call spreads, you're going to manage those maybe potentially just slightly differently, right? You're not going to manage those exactly the same, okay? So now what you're going to do is you're going to modify any of those. So first thing that I want to do here is I want to change the position loop to not look for long call spreads, which is how it was originally set up. This automation was originally set up to monitor any long call spreads that the bot had. This time I don't want to do that. I want to do short call spreads, right? So I just changed that position loop to that. This recipe here says, did the position reach my profit target? Well, if I look at this recipe a little bit closer, you can see that the position premium increased by my profit target. Well, since we're trading short call spreads now, we want the value of call spreads when we're selling options to go down. When the value of those options goes down, that is a profit. When you're trading debit spreads, the value of options increasing is a profit. So the only thing I want to do here is I just want to switch this to the position premium decreased by my profit target amount, which is in this case 50%. That means that when the value of the options goes down 50%, that would be a 50% profit for this particular type of strategy. Okay, so I just want to do that, keep all the same things in there. Everything else I think is pretty good. So expiration threshold, doesn't matter if it's a debit spread or not. At least 1 day, close if there's a reversal. So we have our switch in there. Did we get a reversal? Yes or no? Close the position. Everything else is good here. So I can basically reuse most of this monitor automation that was already in here already. Just like create a new copy of it, new version of it, and I'm good to go. Okay, so here we go. Good to go with that monitor automation. That covers my short call spreads that I get into. Still need to add a monitor automation for my short put spreads. So in this case, you can keep them separated, which I like to do. Like one monitor automation does one strategy, another one does another strategy in case I want to modify them. And in this case, what I want to do is I want to look at the long put spread. Again, I'm going to create a new copy of this. Hopefully this shows up here when I do it. I think I'm overlaying the screen. But yeah, I want to create a new copy of this. I want to modify the existing one. I want to take this and create a new copy that I can change and use for this particular bot. So I'm going to do short put spread here, modify this. Again, change the actual position loop to look for short put spreads specifically. And then again, change the position premium decreased by my profit target. That's all I want. I just want to see if the position premium decreased by my profit target. Everything else stays the same for this one as well. Very organized, very set up. Basically, it goes through and looks to see if I have a profit. Yes, close. If I'm inside my expiration threshold, close the position. If I'm not inside my expiration threshold, did I allow the bot to close if the EMA is reversed and the signal gets switched? And if that's true, then it will go down the path and it will close it as well. So if you notice here, there's multiple exit points that we're telling the bot, look, bot, you've got the opportunity if you want to close this position only under these certain conditions. So if you don't meet any of these conditions, then don't do anything. And that's what they do. So pretty cool way to do it. Someone had a question, is this the TOS scanner? No, this is like the Option Alpha scanner. We connect directly to the markets. We have our own data feed. We do all this stuff for you and then connect to your broker and send the order if you want to. So no, you're not scanning using the TOS or any other platform. This is our software, our platform. Okay, so once you're good to go with this new monitor, you just simply hit save, confirm all of your profit targets, right? If you want to change things for, let's say for your call spreads, you want to close your call spreads when they reach 3 days to expiration versus 1 day, you could do that. You don't have to close them when they get reversed, right? So you can modify these right here and you can use different inputs for different types of management. So maybe your short call spreads are managed this way and your short put spreads are managed this way, a little bit different. 3 days to go versus call spreads are 1 day. You close if reversed is off for this one, but on for this one. Super simple, very flexible, very intuitive way to do this if you want to, okay? And that's it. So your new strategy is ready to go. I don't think there's anything else you need to do. You can do some testing on it if you want to. I always suggest you run any of your strategies paper trading for a little while and kind of like forward test them. Make sure it's doing what you think it's going to do or what you thought the strategy was going to do. And make sure that it's running the way you want. And then once you're good to go, you just simply turn on the automations and let the bot start running. So hopefully that was pretty helpful to go through this today. If you have any questions, you can definitely let me know or hit me up in the comments here. We'll come back in here in a little bit and check this out. But I wanted to build this today because I was going to do that myself and then share the template into the community. But I figured I might as well just do this on a live stream as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, let me know. Give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you have any questions in there. We'll try to do another one of these next week. Make sure you join us on another workshop. We did an awesome workshop today on iron condor filters. So if you kind of like this discussion where we walk through filters for credit spreads, you're definitely going to love that workshop we did today. It's already recorded, posted to the community at Option Alpha. You can check out the new iron condor workshop that we did today. Super cool and fun little workshop we did with a couple hundred people. So anyways, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your Thursday. And if you have any questions, let us know. Team at Option Alpha. Until next time.